Welcome back to the CKN podcast. All right, so Nayla,
what's up, man?
What you talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about DAWS, also known as Digital Audio Workstations. First off, a digital audio workstation is where you're going to produce all your records, technically. Anything audio, any kind of audio file, period, is probably going to go through a DAW. It's for editing, mixing, and processing, essentially. Within these DAWs, and there's many of them, you're going to work literally on your recording. How do you feel about that, Cam? You like DAWs?
I like DAWs, and the reason is because certain DAWs give me the ability to do certain things when I want to record, when I want to make beats. And one example of that is FL Studio. What I like about FL Studio is that it's really easy to arrange beats and music, and it allows me to get the most work done in a little amount of time.
I was about to ask, what's your go-to DAW? Yeah. So everyone, to give you some more ideas, it's a software. It's a music software specifically, or essentially, and there's different types, which means there's different kind of interfaces, different kinds of functions. Usually the buttons all mean the same, but there's different names for each button. I think like Pro Tools is like, in order to trim, it's like called, I'm trying to remember, not consolidate, but there's might be a different word for it, but essentially there's different words sometimes used on different softwares because there's different programmers, coding, whatnot.
Right. So what's your favorite DAW to use?
Oh God, right now I go to oh my God,
Pro Tools right now?
No, by the way, I'm in a Pro Tools certification class, so Pro Tools is like stuck in my language right now, so I might end up saying it here and there on accident. Logic Pro X is my go-to DAW for sure.
Yeah. I need to learn how to use Logic more. I'm not like proficient in it, but I know my way around it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing I like about Logic is actually the stock presets. So the difference between FL Studio and Logic with stock presets is that Logic has much better stocks. Like FL Studio, it's a very bass sound, and it doesn't give you the ability to make what you want to make.
You feel like on Pro Tools, he's saying C. You feel like on Logic Pro you have more options to work with for like loops, live loops?
Yeah, Logic Pro definitely has more options to work with. And also what I like about it is it puts in, when you're looking for loops or samples, whatnot, it shows the key that you're going to work in. Right. And that just kind of gives you an understanding.
That helps, especially if you're doing like vocals and auto-tune vocals and whatnot. You want to match the keys in. But yeah,
exactly. Auto-tune is a big thing where you need to know the key. If you don't know the key for auto-tune, you're screwed.
That's true. That's true right there.
Yeah.
So, that's so cool. Interesting, because to this day I just feel like there's no DAW made for me as a user. I'm a creative user. I want to get right to what I'm trying to do. I feel like no DAW gets me to what I want to do the fastest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So this might be like a tough question, but like if you were to make a DAW,
yes,
what would you want to have in it?
This is gonna be a really interesting answer. I want whatever my mind is thinking. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say this. Whatever I verbally say out loud from my mind, right?
Yeah.
I wanted the DAW to do it for me. Not do everything for me. I work all the logistics. I'm obviously gonna do some hands-on work. But if I say I want a drum kit that sounds like a trap beat from one of Future's songs, I'm going to literally get that drum kit. That's it. It's already on my DAW. I want it to become way more user-friendly than like ever before. Like some next level thinking.
Wait, so what you mean? Like you literally like talk? Yeah, okay.
To it, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I want some more colors. Like it just seems. I know we have a professional, sleek look. Don't get it wrong. Sleek. It's not really that sleek, but I know you want to remain professional, have a neutral background or whatnot. But let's have some more fun. I want some more colors. I'm a creative person. I also like colorful. It just adds more to the structure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Speaking of color. So actually, FL Studio, you can you're able to customize
the interface.
Yeah.
Really?
You're able to customize like the background, like the whole arrangement.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like right here, I got a purple. I have a purple background.
Look at you.
Yeah. So
I need more than that though. I'm picky about it.
I definitely want more than that too, but
it's a
this will do. This will do for now.
But that's just, again, this is like futuristic kind of thinking. Obviously, you know, engineers aren't worried about the color and whatnot. They're worried about the program, the coding, shortcut keys and whatnot. I understand that. Just thinking going forward to just make it more, I want to say, appealing to your users, because it could be an eyesore.
Yeah, I mean, if it's appealing to the user, I feel like that could definitely promote more creativity. And if they're more like comfortable with their DAW, like whether it's like colors or not, that could definitely like help produce creativity. My
big thing is stop with these small buttons. Oh my gosh, Pro Tools, coming for y'all. And don't get it wrong, I love Avid. I appreciate what you've done, especially for Elon period. But seriously, these small little buttons that do a lot, that they have an important function, right? Why are they so small? The icon's small. We gotta work with it's just little details like that I want us to work on. But again, minor stuff, but I think it's still overall it matters.
So say you were in the studio.
Right, okay.
Which DAW are you using?
Like, you mean like professional studio, this is happening, subwoofers, okay. Let me tell y'all. The DAW I'm going to is gonna be Pro Tools. I wanna say Logic. It will be Logic or Pro Tools. I will ask if I'm mixing. So if I'm the mixing engineer for an artist and they have already had a session or had takes on a certain DAW, and it probably would be Logic, FL, or Pro Tools, then I'll work with what they have. Yeah. But I would challenge myself on Pro Tools, but by then I'll know how to work Pro Tools. If not, I'll do Logic. So either or, kind of moving back and forth from Pro Tools or Logic. What about you, Cam?
So I'm gonna have to go with FL Studio.
Okay.
The reason is, like I was saying before, FL Studio is really easy to arrange your music. And the reason why I think that's important is because if you're in a studio and you're working with artists, I mean, usually you'd have your beats ready. But if it's a live studio session and you know, you need to make beats fast, like you got to see what everyone's feeling in the studio. It's easier for me to use FL Studio because of how fast I can actually arrange the beats.
And this goes back to the topic of the conversation. I want people to know, by the way, don't ever be scared. If you're not used to using a DAW, I don't want this to make you scared at all. I just think it goes back to the fact that it's honestly the DAW that works for you. However, Pro Tools happens to be industry standard. And Logic is now on the next industry standard DAW to understand and know, which hurts the fact that you have your FL Studios that you want to work on, but there's other DAWs that you have to just know for your career.
So we haven't talked about Ableton yet.
Oh yeah, Ableton.
What you think about Ableton?
I personally do like Ableton.
I like Ableton too.
I like Ableton.
That's the first DAW I learned on.
Yeah, you did say that. Mine was GarageBand, by the way. So I was a step down from what was it called? Logic Pro. I'm a step down from that. That's what I first started on. Ableton's cute. It's definitely good for live bands, and I completely understand that now. That's why it's called Ableton Live, I'm assuming, but it's really good for live bands, like live music. And I didn't think about that. Yeah,
I mean, the thing I love about Ableton is it's really easy to kind of manipulate samples, and it's really easy to change them around, get them on beat. You know, if you're recording live instruments, you're gonna want the sound to be on grid and on beat. So with Ableton, it's really easy to kind of control that. And so
I will say in the mix view, you could get a live loop or get a sample, throw it into one of your channels, and then play it. And Ableton Live will already have it, I guess, have a sample for you, have it looped for you essentially.
Yeah.
And that was nice. I appreciated that, and it would go on to the beat. But I can't remember exactly. There were just some minor issues, but I was not upset with Ableton Live. It's definitely okay for beginners. I would say Ableton Live. What do we recommend for beginners, Cam? What do you recommend?
For beginners, I would definitely. I don't even know in this one.
I know, cause FL's nice. I'm not gonna lie.
FL is nice.
FL, I really want to say GarageBand for sure. I do want to say
GarageBand is definitely a fantastic bass DAW. Right. Just something to get like started off of.
How they made it was smart. How Apple did that was smart. How they put it together. You can grab whatever loop you want. It's gonna put you right on time. You'll never be offbeat unless you want to be offbeat. But even then, it's not gonna be easy to do that.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you this confidence going into just creating a beat, which I think is necessary for a beginner.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, Cam, what's cooking?
What's cooking? So,
cooking?
Some drama's been cooking recently in the industry. And we're going to talk about that right now. It's involved with YSL, Gunna, and Young Thug.
So for people who don't know, if you don't know, I'm going to be quite surprised, not going to lie. But no, Young Stoner Life, apparently a record label, apparently a gang. We're going to get into this conversation about what's going on. And I want to add this in real quick, Cam. It's important for us to have these conversations because we're going into the music industry. This is going to be our career at some point, and we want to know the ins and outs and all the drama and how to get out of it and whatnot and what can happen and how to avoid it.
And we also want to help you guys too, whoever's watching this, whoever makes music and plans on doing this in the future, whether it's like in the industry or whatnot. So
exactly.
Yeah, let's get into that.
All right, so Gunna took the stand. I believe it was just for a hearing. I know it was before trial, so I'll say that. It was before trial and admitted to YSL being a gang. Now, the controversy behind that is that it's considered snitching from a perspective of somebody who's involved in a gang or involved in gang life, as opposed to, I think his name is Bruce Rivers. If you've not heard of him, he's a criminal lawyer. And you can find him on YouTube. His name is Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, literally that. And he examines it from a lawyer's perspective. And it's different because from a lawyer's perspective, he said Gunna did not actually snitch, but he could potentially end up snitching because they can use what he said as evidence in the trial against Young Thug. Now, before I ask you, Cam, the argument that Young Thug, I believe, was making is YSL's a record label. They were trying to keep it unrelated to gang activity. That's the argument for the court. So how do you feel about this, Cam?
So I feel that Gunna didn't even need to bring it up in the first place, that it was gang affiliated. At that point, I would just say, don't say anything at all. Mm-hmm. You don't have to say anything. And that's just I think that's gonna hurt him in the future. What happened to 6ix9ine, for example.
Right. We had not heard about 6ix9ine.
Yeah, no one
was looking for 6ix9ine after his court appearance.
Yeah, no one's been talking about 6ix9ine. And I mean, obviously there's a difference, the fans love Gunna.
People like
6ix9ine,
Gunna.
not so much.
People like Gunna and did not like 6ix9ine as much.
So I think this is definitely gonna hurt Gunna's whole what's the word for it?
I want to say reputation in a way. Reputation. I want to say reputation for the gang lifestyle. I want to say that because I think he'll be fine music wise. I think he'll still make his money. Might not be as much, but he'll still make his money. Because this is, again, the snitch code period, for those who don't know, it's really for gang-affiliated, gang-related activity, meaning you're a part of a gang in order to live by that code and or live that lifestyle. It's just hard to tell your future in this exact moment. There's no crystal ball to tell us. Gunna was people's favorite artist, so it's important.
I definitely think it's gonna bite him in the future. I mean, he easily could have taken some jail time, and then because he has so much money, he could have gotten out.
Yeah, he had less charges. His charges weren't as bad in comparison to Young Thug. Not as bad.
But he just screwed him over instead.
Right, which goes back to loyalty. The questioning of loyalty, and then my other comment to this is Gunna's involved in the hip hop genre. When you associate Gunna, you put him most likely in the hip hop category for his music and his style. A lot of people in that category, in that genre, if you don't know already, are involved in that lifestyle. So, is he gonna change genres? Do you think he might change genres, Cam?
I mean, just based off of that, and based on like how the music industry is like changing anyways, I feel like he might have to. I feel like there might not be another choice for him. But what genre would he do?
What would he do? That's the question.
Like, what would he do?
That's a good question.
He was kind of just like setting himself and Young Thug up for failure.
I know.
It's a lose-lose. Like,
because longevity-wise, he no longer has, I guess, people try to say like the street cred or something. So he would no longer have that, essentially. So when he talks in his rap music, what is he going to talk about too? Is another question. I just thought about that. What are you going to talk about now? And then with that being said, I mean, he already talked about bougie lifestyle, so the rich life. But anyways, and then going forward, what's the brotherhood? I don't know, because YSL, and will YSL still be a record label? Or is that going to dismantle? Is that done? I didn't look into the company's future either. I didn't look into the company details. So I don't know what will happen with that as well. But what would you do, Cam, if you were the record label owner? Let's say it wasn't Young Thug. Let's say it truly was someone who actually owned the label, and all of this blew up. The RICO came up. Apparently, they were doing drugs, and they're mixing drug money with their enterprise money. What would you do as the owner of the label?
Okay, so I do think, even though it does like, all right. Even though it doesn't benefit Gunna or Young Thug, it does stir up a lot of drama. It brings people into the conversation, and that could possibly bring them a lot of listeners, a lot of viewers. But if we're talking about long run, I don't think it's gonna help them. Going back to the 6ix9ine situation. His first music video that he released after, it got like 100 million views in like a day. Right. Or a couple days, but it just like died down after that. So what I would do with the label is I would probably release some music, see how it does.
You would still keep Gunna? No. On your label, or would you drop Gunna?
I'm dropping Gunna.
So if your contract was like, you have one more month with him, you have one more month with Gunna, and then he's officially a free agent, essentially, just to give you another term if you're familiar with the NFL. But you would drop him from your label, or would you do something with him for that 1 month, like do a project, or after that month, you're gone, nothing's happening, you're done?
I would have to do something with him for that month, and then drop him. And the reason is because he's gonna gain like popularity for that month.
I agree. Yep.
And then die down.
That's what I'm thinking.
So if I was the label owner and I can make money off of that for the month, then I would probably do that.
You're going for it.
Yeah.
Again, people kind of forget this, but record label owners, they're trying to get their money.
Yeah, they're trying to get their money.
Trying to stay rich. So that brings a good point, though. I did notice when you said 6ix9ine, right when he made his music video, views spiked up, got 100 mil.
You spiked.
No lie. I remember watching it myself, and then he had the rat face on that video where he put like the rat face on his head. Gunna, I'm gonna be honest, if he pulls something off like that, it will get a ton of views, and that will generate a lot of money. And I do believe the next single he does drop, and it does talk about the situation in any kind of capacity, it's gonna get views. Really anything he drops at this point will get so many views. But if he addresses what has occurred,
and that's money.
That's money.
That's money. And
then you drop him off.
Goodbye. I mean, yeah.
Peace.
And considering that labels take most of your money, is the crazy part. Like, if views can spike for Gunna for that month, you're getting a lot of money right there. You're getting a lot of money.
Yeah. That's how you'll stay rich. That's how you'll get your wealth and generate it. And it's unfortunate. Do we think that's wrong? Do we think it's wrong as a record label owner to only go for money?
I think it definitely is wrong. But if you're like that powerful in the industry, you're not gonna think about morals as much as money, especially if you're a label owner.
Well said.
I mean,
I agree.
I feel like the label owners don't really get talked about.
No one knows them. A lot of people don't know their names. Unless the artists, and obviously the artists would know them because they're in the same building as them, right? But a lot of them don't know the names. Like, we probably don't know the names. I'm not saying we, but I mean the general population speaking. We don't know the names of every single record label owner. Why? That's strategically done. Unless you're involved in the industry. They got a lot of money. First of all, people with a lot of money probably are the most unassuming people you ever meet. Just to say that. You're not going to know they have a lot of money. They don't want to flaunt that necessarily, because that causes problems. Interesting. So, Cam, what do you think? What do you think Gunna should do? If you were Gunna right now, what would you do? What's your move? What's the next move?
I would move to the most remote place in the world and settle down with my money and live a good life after.
Heard that. You think it's done for your career? You think you would just stop your career?
Oh my God.
Man, because he's forever hiding. Let's also be real. I mean, 6ix9ine is still alive, but 6ix9ine also, I think, works with the police.
Yeah.
And I just think the police period are the kryptonite to anyone who's involved in gang activity. With that being said, yeah, I mean, Gunna would be in fear of his life, in fear of his safety forever. That's the thing. You made a decision in court. But you may be in fear of your safety for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Is it worth it? That's the question. Is it worth it? Wow. This definitely pulls your morals. I will say this controversy alone.
Yeah.
Now, do we want to get into Megan and Tory? Do you want to talk about it?
You talk about it first.
I will just give the details of what has happened. I know I could be getting the chronological order wrong. Then again, it's been since like last week I've sat down and like reviewed the case. First of all, I want to just completely say this before I even go in detail. This is so important, right? We talk about black on black. We talk black on black crime. We talk about anyone, whether it's a woman or a man, being hostile. We talk about domestic violence and relationships. This is all the reason why, once again, we're bringing this up is because this affects everybody at some point. This is literally a situation that can technically happen to anybody, and it happened to two celebrities that a lot of people know about. With that being said, if y'all don't know already, Megan came out and said that Tory shot her.
In the foot.
This happened, I'm not sure if it happened in the car or outside the car, but it eventually occurred. Megan is 100% a victim. Let's just be serious. Let's just flat out say it. Megan is a victim.
Yeah.
Either way.
Absolutely.
And a survivor. I also want to add in, and I really think no one's talking about this, somebody could have died that night. There was a gun I think it was in the vehicle, but I could be getting this wrong, but there was a gun involved and it was shot. This could have went even worse, and it already went bad.
So, with this, Tory Lanez, he had an unregistered firearm.
Correct.
And on top of that, Megan was seen like going into the cop car with bloody ass feet.
Right.
Bloody ass feet. And what was I gonna say?
Got into the cop car and did not tell the cops what occurred because of what happened with George Floyd. And again, I'm gonna be honest, that makes sense to me. She doesn't want that happening to another black man, but I also want to know where the transition was, where it became now I want him in jail. No, I should have, or I don't know if she regretted not telling the cops, but I wonder if she ever did regret it. If there was regret, I don't think I saw any. I haven't looked into the posts.
No, obviously. But I'll tell you like the reason why she didn't want to like tell the cops that she initially got shot. And the reason is, obviously, it has to do with systematic racism at first. She didn't want to tell the cops because she didn't think that the cops would take care of her. That's why she didn't tell him that she got shot. She didn't think they would help her. So that's just alarming to me, and other people should be too in the community. So
this is 100% an unfortunate circumstance. 100%. No one should feel like they can't. No one should feel like they can't talk to the cops. No one should feel like the cops are gonna kill them if they do. Trying to seek help, it should not be this hard.
It shouldn't.
That's why it's like I'm gonna talk about this topic, but I really want to talk about it from a perspective of we need help. We need to support. We need help. I'm not here to dog anybody or insult anybody. I'm here to actually talk about the issue.
Yeah.
Which is the cause. It's never really the result. The result is always the issue. But the cause. Why are people feeling like this? Why is Megan reluctant? Well, there's so many reasons to be reluctant, right? And if there is a registered firearm, first of all, for people who don't know, you have to immediately inform the police if there's a shooting. You have to immediately inform the police if you shot the gun, right? I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying if you had shot the gun. So where it gets more controversial is in court. Apparently, everyone lied outside of court, and when they got into court, everyone had their own stories. Kelsey asked for immunity on the stand. People see that as suspicious. Megan had a different story, apparently, on the stand, and then Tory never went to the stand.
Yeah.
Do you think at all, Cam, that it was a bad move, Tory not going on the stand?
I think it was definitely a bad move, in my opinion.
Why is that?
Not going to the stand, I think you can't even share what actually happened or your side of the story. I just don't think it can help you if you don't go.
Yeah.
But I want to pull up some texts that
Go ahead.
that Tory sent Megan.
Absolutely.
After. So this was July 12th. He texted her saying, "Meg, I know you're probably never gonna talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart, and I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, shit could have never happened and can't change what I did. I just feel horrible." That seems to me like you're sorry, like you're just a sorry human.
So, I will say this: the evidence that was with Tory, so the text and then the phone call with Kelsey as well, everyone was saying, "Oh, this is just suspicious." Like, he obviously sounds guilty. I will say, now looking in hindsight, which is, again, it's hindsight. I can only imagine the moment, as a lawyer, should I take him on the stand or not put him on the stand? I can only imagine that decision was 10 times, way more intense than this right now. But he had everything stacked against him. Because he also got into altercations prior to court. He just, and he literally sucker punched August and Selena. Forgive me if I pronounce his name wrong, but he literally sucker punched August, a few months before. So the jury could have saw those videos, could have known that information. Tory basically already was seen as a criminal, essentially. Let's be real. Let's be honest. If he went on the stand, it could have possibly been a bad move. I mean, that he didn't go on the stand. And the fact that he didn't go on the stand probably was a bad move. At the same time, I think the outcome was going to be the same regardless.
It was. It really was.
People are saying that too. The outcome might have just been the same.
Now people are trying to defend, Tory, but the thing is, they're trying to defend him by saying, oh, he was drunk, he probably didn't remember anything that happened that night, but
okay,
that can't be an excuse. Thank
you for saying.
That's not justifying.
Stop saying.
That's
stop
not
saying
justifying
it.
anything.
Let's just go ahead. Stop saying you're drunk as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's never an excuse. You are a responsible adult. Either way, you're responsible for yourself and your actions. And at some point, you need to hold yourself accountable. Period. That's for any situation. Any situation. You chose to drink. You chose to get drunk. That is on you. So, where do we go from here? Oh, and one more thing I want to add. The reason why people were defending Tory is because I think it was more so about the trial period. I don't think everyone is coming to Tory's defense because I think people know that the trial lacked evidence that would convict him. Which there is truth to that. I will admit there is truth to that. Again, attack the cause. don't even attack the people. And by attack, I really hate saying attack. Just hold them accountable. Let's talk about that later. Let's just talk about the cause. And also being intoxicated. Like I said, don't be intoxicated. Don't cheat, okay? Just like, don't cheat. Don't be intoxicated and you're with people that you don't entirely trust and you haven't done good things around, right? Just make better decisions, and it matters. And this is for everybody. This is a teachable lesson for everybody. But well, I don't think we'll ever. I think that honestly, the saddest part is, and this reminded me of Tupac and Biggie. Honestly, it's the fact that we'll never know who the actual shooter was. We'll always have to come down to whatever hearsay. We weren't given, I don't think we were given Kelsey's DNA. I don't think we were ever, there wasn't precise evidence. She got immunity anyways. Like, we'll never actually know what happened. And I don't like leaving this with an unsolved verdict, essentially. Even though it wasn't an unsolved verdict in the court, obviously. But leaving this unsolved, essentially. I think it's actually sad.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our second episode.
Let's go.
Sorry about the delay
Yes.
from the first one.
Yes.
We've been really busy, with school. So I'm glad we could get this one done, though.
100%.
Yep. I'm Cam.
I'm Nayla.
And this is CKN.PODCAST.
Let's go.
We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.